maybe this is the reset that you finally need to break out of this trading problem. Because let's face it, most traders, they don't realize that it's a single thought that is causing them the most pain. We just don't realize that when we first start trading. And most of you watching this video are of new traders, if not maybe a struggling trader, and it's all based around your thoughts. One single thought can spiral and absolutely blow your account. And in today's video, I want to touch deep on this. Now, as you know, our videos are around about psychology, etc., and things like that, because there are a dozen trading strategies. In fact, there's 10,000 billion trading strategy videos out there for you. But there's not a lot of content in relation to how your mind actually works. And that's what we try and bring, and that's what we help with our traders. Now, before I move on, as you know, you mentioned about a webinar. I mentioned that in the last video. Now, this is the last video where I will mention the webinar because it will be on the 9th of September. And there are spaces absolutely just gone. The first 100 went straight away. So I'm gonna have to increase that to 200. I believe we're around about 150, 160 already now. So by the time they watch this video, we could have to be increasing that. So that's the webinar. You asked for it, I delivered, there you go. So let's then move on to this video in relation to the thought process of what we're trying to get through in relation to our trading and everything else. Now, again, I've mentioned numerous times the way that you think is how you're going to be a profitable trader. And we did a video before on the feedback loop theory. And this is just intertwined or integrated into the way traders think, the trader's thought loop. This is what it is. Now, the trader's thought loop is very, very simple. It's a thought that we have, and we can't stop these thoughts, by the way. So don't think you can go on and master these things and you can decide when thoughts come into your head and when you want them in and when you don't. It doesn't work like that. Mastery of the mind comes from acknowledging the thoughts. Now, the trader thought process, the loop, is very, very simple. A thought creates a feeling. We all know that. That's the emotion. This feeling then drives your next trading action. Even that alone, most traders are not even aware of. From that action then creates a result. Now let me do that again. That's the loop. A thought creates a feeling. That feeling drives our next trading action. And that action that we take then gives us the result. It's as simple as that. And the results will just keep reinforcing the same thought that started it all. So if it's a negative thought process, if it's a greed thought process or anything like that, which I will speak about in this video, guess what the end result's going to be. Now, the power of manifestation, the power of affirmations, the power of rewiring your mindset, it's not all guru kind of furu stuff. The best, most successful people on the planet for the last 2,000 years of what we know have all come across with the same positive guidance. So how can they all be wrong? I think people just ignore that fact. So going back to the action creates the negative, obviously, result. This is why one loss will lead to revenge trading, or why you might win once on greed and then the cycle continues and you absolutely get blown out of the water. You're not going to break any of these bad habits by going through this trader loop. Think of the loop theory video that we spoke about as in train of thought. This is exactly the same. A thought, an emotion, that emotion makes an action then gives us the result, and we're going round and round and round. That is something that you need to understand and break very, very early on in your trading process. Now, as a trader, you've probably battled your own mind, and you need to battle your own mind when you're moving forward. Now, you've argued with your own entries. You've argued with your own edge because you're not quite sure. And then one day, like, I understand it. And then the next day, you're not quite getting it, right? That's normal. And you replay these losses and why you shouldn't do this till 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're back testing again, and you lose the confidence and you go and do it again. And all this doubt then creeps in. The fear takes over on all these certain things. And suddenly, no longer you're trading your system. You're just not trading your system. Now, as you know, we've got the precision stack system. That's the way that I trade. That's the way that I teach other traders, because you need a system. And the minute that you start reinforcing these bad thought processes, you're not going to believe in that edge, and you're going to be looking for other excuses, procrastination, looking to bounce the accountability so you don't need to take it yourself to somewhere else and blame someone else. Now, I want you to listen very, very closely on what I'm about to say this. And just pause and listen to what I'm about to say. If there's any distractions in the background, you need to pause and come back as I say this. You are not your thoughts. That is a deep, deep thing. You are not your thoughts. And people, if they're not into self-development, won't really understand what I'm trying to say. Remember, your thoughts were your thoughts were rewired and put into your system by your environments, by your parents, by your friends, by the schools that you went to. You are not your thoughts. Okay? You're not fear of missing out. You're not the voice that's saying in your head that you know you're probably going to blow this account because you've gone Hail Mary on a trade. Those thoughts are echoes of deeper emotions that have come, and they will come in and they will come out. Fear, frustration, insecurities, all these things will highlight during your trading. Now, when I work with people, I say after people have signed up with me, on the intro call, I tell them, trading is going to expose and show you the side you have never seen before. And at first, they can't understand what I'm saying. It's just trading. Within 3 or 4 weeks, they start to see that things they never thought even existed in their own emotional intelligence in their life. Okay? Now, unless you release them, all right, they're going to keep hijacking you. Unless you're aware of them, unless you let them out and then know how to control these thoughts, okay, they're just going to keep sabotaging you time and time again, and you're going to ignore. And that's why it can take people so long to become good at trading, the ones that stick to it and get through, because it's not built for everyone. 99% of the people that watch this video are not going to be a sustainable, long-term, profitable trader. Just like 99% of the people that try and be a professional athlete are never make it. Or 99% of the people that want to be a Hollywood film star, they don't make it, all right? However, that does not mean that we give up and we don't give it a shot. That is a loser mindset. Now, this is a little bit deep, all right? Now, the good news is your brain can change. That's the good news. You can rewire your brain, and if you've watched any of my content, you will know, to think in different patterns and think in different ways. It's neuroplasticity, okay? I'm not going to go too much on the biology side, but that's what actually happens. So every time you trade, your brain wires patterns. The capillaries and all those types of things in your brain, okay? That's how you create a habit. That's what happens in your subconscious mindset, all right? If those patterns are fear-driven, you're going to reinforce fear. If they're greed-driven, you're going to reinforce fear. That's agreed. That's what's going to happen, all right? If they're structured and precise, you're going to reinforce discipline. So that's why we talk about a systemized, methodical way of trading, because you're going to structure and create a precise way of thinking. And that's going to give you the discipline. I did an Instagram post earlier talking about freedom, because I value freedom way more than any watches. I've got a watch, it's a nice watch, or cars and things like that. They're not important to me. I like them, but they're not important. Important is freedom, but freedom comes with a very, very high level of discipline. People forget that. A very, very high level of discipline. That's where freedom comes from. Now, we've built the precision stack system. That's how I trade, all right? It's a very, very simple system. It's you do this, you see this, you do that, etc., etc. It's not just a strategy, it's a framework. And what you need to do, whichever you're doing, there's many, many frameworks out there. The framework helps you understand the market, okay? It rewires how you see things. Remember when I speak about in the brain, it rewires how you see things. Instead of obsessing over just every candle and what this YouTuber might say, and this guy who's risking his whole trading account to try and flip that account, and all these types of things, they're not sustainable. They are for insecurities, to show off the world that look at me because they think they're better than their peers or whatever. That's all insecurity and absolute nonsense. And once you develop emotional intelligence, you will look straight past that. Way, way past all that nonsense, okay? Now, if you start stacking the probabilities, which means if you start stacking your edge and you understand the system, this is what's going to help you operate daily rather than you drowning in the emotions and you don't know whether you're coming or going because your emotions are pulling you all over the place. All right. So trading isn't just technical analysis. That's the beginner's guide to trading. If you see this, do this. If you see that, do that. That's technical analysis. It's way deeper than that. It's all neurological, it's biology, it's all these things. But they only come into power when you have a precise way and a precise way of thinking. And that's why we created the way that I did the precision stack system to trade. It helps you instantly, every single day, implement a simple way of thinking, and this builds in the subconscious mindset. All right. Now, when you don't release the emotions, this is the danger. When you don't release the emotions, you're going to fall into 3 traps, all right? And these 3 traps are what's going to just keep you where you are. And over time, probably heap a lot more doubt, a lot more money along the way, and you're probably going to give up like most people do. And you're going to go and try something else. You're going to try a crypto course. Or you're going to try an e-commerce course. Or you're going to try what's the new thing now, an AI course or a SaaS company or whatever it may be to try and figure something out. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because those make a lot of money. But if you want to be a serious trader and not follow signals from some nonsense or whatever it may be, I spoke about all these things before, then you're going to want to understand these 3 things that I'm just about to tell you, all right? Number 1 is suppression. So what do I mean by that? It means you bury yourself in fear. You pretend that it's not there. You just pretend that it's okay and I don't really have fear. You're not acknowledging the fact that when you're in the green or when you're in the red, these emotions are really, really getting high and your heart rate is going up, right? You might smile through this pain and just keep trading. Oh, it's okay. For an ego problem, for an ego, oh, it's okay. But the pain's there, you're losing deep down. And the pressure just keeps building up and building up and building up. And then one day you're going to explode. You're going to have a breakdown. You're not acknowledging the fact that you might be gambling. You're not acknowledging the fact that you're just not made for this at the moment. You're not doing no self-development work. You're not working on your discipline. You're not working on your mindset. You're not working on the reactionary reactions from your emotional state. That is suppression. Number 2 is expression, okay? Now, expression is the opposite. It's when we lash out, all right? So you might overtrade. You might looking for a revenge trade. You might just slam the buy and sell button because you've just had enough of this absolute nonsense. Then you might rage quit. Just go crazy and rage quit whatever community that you're in, all right? This feels like a release. You might even blame your coach, your mentor, the person whose Discord it is. You might even blame other people around you. This is expression, all right? But all you're doing is replaying the emotion that came in the beginning, and you're going to cement that bad habit, and you're going to keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And you're going to blame someone and move on. You're going to blame someone and move on, and you're going to blame someone and move on. That's expression. And then thirdly, which is massive and not a lot of what people speak about, is escapism. Now, escapism is what the world has promoted. Escapism is what the world has thought and overlooks and think it's normality, which is crazy. To think of themselves and only themselves in this world. Look at me, look what I'm doing, look at this, look at this, look at that. And portraying this thing of I'm great. Look across the board in trading. If you go on Instagram, because I did this over the last couple of days, and type in trading at the top, you will see all the same trading faces with the same trading content, and it's all the same. Marketing, lifestyle, fraud, nonsense. That's escapism. That is escapism. The reality is behind closed doors. Now, this is where you may be chasing a shiny object. I know this. I suffered from this when I was a professional footballer. To escape from the pressures of professional football and my bad decisions off the pitch, I used to spend and spend and spend to deal with my insecurity. In trading, you may just jump from new indicator to new indicator, new Discord group to new Discord group, new YouTube guru to new YouTube guru, some holy grail 99.9% system that does not exist, by the way. all these things. Or you might scroll TikTok, you might binge watch YouTube, you might even drink, you might even gamble, you might even have a sex addiction, whatever it may be, but you're looking for a distraction to take away the reality that you are not good at trading. Now, all these paths, they just keep your bad cycle alive. That's all they do. None of them is going to fix the root problem. Absolutely none of them, right? So how does a trader break free and get rid of this, break this path of surrender? Okay, so firstly, you need to acknowledge the fact that these are maybe the things that you're going through. All right, and this is a little bit of a deep and a little bit of a long video, but I'm talking to my main avatar. I'm speaking to you, and I know the people that work with me, and I know the people who I can help. That's why you're watching this video. And again, if you need any help with that, there is a link below. You can jump on a call with me. Again, like you say, we only work with a certain amount of people and a type of individual, but there is a link below. Jump on a call. Let's see if I can help you on this trading journey. But going back to breaking this path, you surrender. You don't surrender to the market, but to the feeling behind your thoughts. Let me say that again. You don't surrender to the market, but the feeling behind your thoughts. So the next time your mind screams, which will be tomorrow, if you're watching this on a Sunday evening, when the market opens tomorrow and the voice screams, you'll lose this trade, just stop. Don't fight the thought. Don't bury it. Don't ignore it. Notice that thought. Feel it. Let it out. I always have this thing, and I speak about this with the mentees, people that I work with. When we have bad thoughts or bad days or bad minutes, I don't have bad days. I have like bad 10 minutes, okay, throughout the day or throughout the week. A cloud comes in, bad thought. That cloud goes, we're never going to see that cloud ever again. These is what thoughts are. You're not going to be able to stop them. You just need to understand, notice, acknowledge them, and deal with them. Okay? Release. Don't suppress, release. Now, when you do this, the emotion's going to just dissolve. That's what it's going to do. It's going to dissolve. That little devil on your shoulder is just going to, they're probably going to get bored of actually saying the things to you that they want to say. All right? And with that negative grip that it has on you is going to just wear away. This isn't weakness. It's mastery. Because you stop fighting the battles. You stop fighting these battles that you thought you needed to have obviously fight, but you don't. When someone's trying to wind you up in a fight or in a street or in a circumstance, whatever, it's happened to me numerous times. That's when I knew I could understand total control. When I was faced with two situations that they were going to jail, I was going to jail, or one of us was going to die. Not exaggerating. That minute between that stimulus, that information, and then a pause, and then the bad reaction, which could have been bad, that split second, I acknowledged the situation and I had to think about what I'm going to do. And the thought came, and believe me, there were some terrible thoughts in there. The thoughts came, I understood, they drifted, and I dealt with it. And I dealt with it for a long time. However, trading is just till the next trade. It might be 2 minutes later. Then you get an opportunity to move to the next one. Now, going back to the way that I trade, right? The precision stack system, you can use that as a reset. This is where the precision stack system is going to change the game. It changed the game for me. It's changed the game for my students. It's changed the game for the people that I speak about. It doesn't just give you like a way of trading or a signal, okay? It gives you emotional structure. Because if that thought comes in before a confirmation, you know that that thought is there to try and entice you into the market, all right? So instead of the fear saying, don't miss this move, you have the framework that's going to tell you what conditions must be aligned. Are the conditions aligned? When is my risk justified? Is it too early for me to get in? I need to wait for something else. And how to manage the trade when I'm in that trade with clarity. So now all of a sudden, you have a framework. It makes sense. So suddenly your trading isn't chaos. It's just precision. And that could be with any system that you make. And when your mind knows that the system is the bigger picture and bigger than your emotions, guess what? Surrender just becomes so much easier you would not believe it. The fear quiets down. the confidence arises, the control arises, and the loop breaks. And you start to create a positive trading thought loop theory. All right. So that's how you need to look at this if you're going forward. So I want you to picture this. All right. You're sitting at the charts, you're nice and calm, you're steady, you're not chasing, you're not second guessing, you're letting the system do its thing. Remember we spoke about the black box theory, the black box effect. That's the system doing its thing. That's what a plane's system does, all right? While your emotions are finally going crazy and they have to take a back seat. Always reminds me of the film Inside Out. If any of you have got kids, Inside Out, great film about the crazy emotions, all right? The emotions have got to take a back seat. And that's when trading becomes free. I speak about stress-free trading all the time. That's when the results just compound and compound and compound. And are you going to have days where you go on tilt? Absolutely. Are you going to have days where you blow accounts? Absolutely. But they are not going to be nowhere near as often as they are now. And you're going to be able to take money out of the market. That's when you're going to stop battling yourself and start building your trading future. So I really hope that this video really helps you, because it's quite a good one. It's a deep one, all right? And it's all about your thoughts. If you don't understand or aware of your thoughts, you're not going to make it as a husband, as a dad, as a whatever you want to be. Whatever you want to be, you're probably not going to make it, all right? So the next time that you have this little whisper in your head, which could be tomorrow, could be as you're watching this video, don't blow this trade. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You're a precision trader. And if you're with me, that's exactly what you are. And if you watch this content, you're exactly what you are. And precision traders outsmart the markets. Not entirely, because the markets will always win if you're in there for too long, but you will outsmart the market with your edge by first understanding themselves. You must understand, all right? So if you're ready to break that loop and lean a little bit deeper into things, you know where I am. The link below if you want to jump on a call with me. No salesy, no pressure whatsoever. We'll see if that we can obviously help you. As always, see you on the next one.